Ladies and gentlemen, we are here after Sunday football, and I wanted to see if I can trigger Tom Grossi before I play the intro. What do you think about that Aaron Rodgers haircut? Did he lose his power by cutting his hair? Is Aaron Rodgers going to retire mid-season? Are the Vikings the best team in the NFC North? Are the Bears better than the Packers? Can the Packers play a physical brand of football? Are you tired of living deja vu every week of every season? Do you miss Davante Adams?
Wait, how do you spell Davante?
D-I.
Son of a gun! Just spell it right! Just spell it! Oh, baby. We here. We are freaking cracking here, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, I just got a new catchphrase for us.
What do you got?
You say, we here, I say, we steer, and you say, in the right direction.
Ooh, you know what? Let's try that. Let's pretend we didn't do this intro. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We here.
We steer.
You in the right direction. Because this is the Grossi Perna show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. And this is G P S.
The S stands for suck, like the Packers.
The S also stands for Seahawks, who are going to beat the Broncos tonight and be the only winning team in the NFC West.
Oh, yeah. Rough week for the NFC West. And
how about the freaking AFC South?
God. Oh, man, I had a question for you. What was harder to watch as a Packers fan? Because I'm not going to overreact to the Packers. But
we did this last year. The whole thing.
Was it harder to see Kirk Cousins doing well with Justin Jefferson and the crazy people picking Kirk Cousins to win MVP look like they might be more correct than the people to pick Aaron Rodgers, or seeing Davante Adams doing pretty incredible for the Raiders, even though the Raiders still lost?
I think
as a true fan, what were you like? Oh, I hate seeing Kirk Cousins do well, or man, I really miss
honestly,
Davante.
Out of all of those things, no, because Davante I knew was going to happen, and that's the thing. Davante is a great receiver, right? Top two, not two. He's phenomenal. They still lost. That doesn't bother me. What bothered me was Justin Jefferson, because every single Packers fan knows how good he is. And for some reason, they don't just stick Jair Alexander over there and just be like, hey, you cover him the whole game because you're the best guy on defense. You go do that. And instead, he has a career high day and 2 touchdowns. And I'm tired of seeing zero game plan. If he was just beating coverage, just on one-on-one, I get it. That's fine, right? He's just a really great receiver. But the game plan was oh, yeah, I forgot that guy was really good. Because there was times where he was standing and there's no one around him for 15 yards. And he's like, oh, I guess I'll score a touchdown now. So, yeah, that one bothered me.
Got it. He bet on himself.
Good day.
Australia.
Oh, no. Okay, we got the puppy back. Good. We got the puppies back. Let's go.
A dog napping.
Dog napping in Australia is apparently probably there. Yeah, we're going to talk about the Cowboys because the Cowboys are big doo-doo. Dak Prescott going to be out 6 to 8 weeks getting surgery. And he didn't look good when he was in there either. They were missing Amari Cooper. So, TBK, yeah. But that's the thing. That's the media. The media is going to do that. That I wasn't necessarily surprised about. I was just like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Because Devontae Adams did have more receiving yards than all of the Packers receivers combined.
A.J. Dillon was our leading receiver yesterday.
Ooh.
So, just gonna up. Oh, he's frozen.
You froze.
No, you froze. You're frozen.
Today's is Disney. Brought to you by Disney.
You froze. Pardon, is it your
Am I
internet?
back?
I'm not getting the little marker. I'm fine.
I mean, I'm hardwired too, damn it.
So am I. It's stupid StreamYard.
It is StreamYard. And am I back or am I still frozen?
You're back.
Am I back? I'm back?
You're back. You're back.
Okay. All
You're
right. Great. Great.
Um,
You know what? You know where you won't freeze?
there it is.
DraftKings Sportsbook. That app, unlike this show, will not freeze on yo ass. That's exactly what they wanted me to say.
That's exactly what the
DraftKings,
ad read
we
was.
won't freeze on yo ass. Yo, look it, check it. Football, we're here, we're in it. The season is kicked off. Teams
Here.
are celebrating their wins.
I'm not.
Some are not celebrating that. While, revisiting, say, their game plans. Now, whether your team won or lost week 1, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a shot at an easy W. New customers, all you got to do is bet $5 on any NFL wager, and you'll instantly receive $200 in free bets. So new customers sign up. You can make any sort of football wager, and you get the free bet money. You got same game parlays. You can combine multiple bets from the same game for a big payout. I did a upset parlay.
Oh,
I picked the Pats to upset the Dolphins.
that did not go well.
Picked the Lions to upset the Eagles. Almost got there. And I can't even remember what the third one was because I was already out of the running. So I like doing the upset parlay. I think it's a really hard one to hit because you gotta find 3 teams that are going to do it to win. I did not. Anyway, you download the app. You use our code GPS, link in the description. The code in the link, that's the secret. That's how DraftKings knows you got to their site from us. And if you want to see them continue to support us, you got to navigate yourself to their Sportsbook app with our code GPS. And again, it's new customers going to get those $200 in free bets on any NFL wager this week. DraftKings Sportsbook.
Let's ride.
Broncos country. Let's. Yeah, baby.
Yeah, baby. Yeah,
Let's
we're gonna
giddy up, F boys.
giddy up, F boys. Let's go. All right. Yeah, we need to. There's a lot to break down. There is a ton to talk about. And it's so funny too because I didn't stream the early set of games, so it's one of the very rare times during the season where I actually get to enjoy what I'm paying for in Red Zone.
Right.
And in the beginning, it was all defense. Like every single defense was destroying. Joe Burrow was throwing all the interceptions. It was just pick after pick. Kickers were missing everything. And it was like, oh, and that kind of went for like all the first halves. And then the second half started to occur. And those first set of games were pandemonium. You had massive upsets. The Falcons were kicking the crap out of the Saints. They wind up choking that away. We'll go game by game. You have the Colts and the Texans. They freaking tied in a crazy game. You had the Steelers and Bengals going into overtime, and nobody wanted to win that game. The amount of chaos that happened last night was wonderful, and it truly made for one of the craziest week ones. And I know Pern has been saying it on this show that the week 1 is the anomaly, but it just seemed that the chaos of last year just carried over because we had a very chaotic free agency. One of the most chaotic I've ever seen, like in all my fans as a football fan.
It was nuts.
And then they were just like, oh, bet we're just going to keep it going. And then, of course, it ends with Sunday night's game, which was such a dud because that game was so bad.
Oh,
One touchdown score. That was a tough
Yeah,
game to
keep
stream.
putting the Cowboys in prime time, NFL. We will all be grateful.
Oh yeah.
Cowboys are they are hitting a patch of bad luck right now. The Cowboys played so bad last night that nobody even noticed that Tom Brady wasn't really that good. like he wasn't. He wasn't very good. Nobody wants to say it. I have the courage to stand out above all the rest.
Proud of you, buddy. Taking that leap.
He was a little off target with his throws. Like, they should have blown out the Cowboys. Basically, the Buccaneers performed like the Steelers, right? Like, they had all these opportunities. They should have run away with the game. They didn't. The difference is the Cowboys don't have Joe Burrow, who is the most clutch quarterback I've ever seen, except for he threw a lot of picks and was sacked. 7 sacks. And somehow that game went into overtime.
Yes.
I watched the Chiefs just dismantle the Cardinals.
Good God.
Cardinals fans, you should be a little worried.
Yeah.
Luckily, the whole
Cardinals,
NFC West looks bad right now. So,
yeah,
it ain't over for the Cardinals.
We got a fanny from Clutter. Boop. I'm just staying here until next Sunday night, where I can hope that maybe the Packers could do better.
Tom
because I
just slept
don't
like this in his chair.
Honestly, I was telling Perna, I worked from 4 p.m. Eastern till 2:40 in the morning, nonstop, because it was stream, reaction, breakdown vid.
To honor Tom with this 50, I have chosen a clip.
Oh.
Because we all know the French are the hardest working people out there.
Grossi posse. Grossi pousi.
There you go. See?
There we are.
Tied it all together.
Perfect. Do we want to do the segment first, or we want to just go game by game and jump right into it?
Let's do the segment first, and then we'll try to do as much game talking as we can for this week.
I love it. All right. So we thought we'd start with a little segment here in which Brandon Perna and I would, out of all the games that were played yesterday and also Thursday, pick one team that we say looked the best and one team that we say looked the worst.
I forgot about Thursday.
It's okay. So did the Rams. They forgot to show up. But let's start off with the worst. There's a lot of teams that are in contention for this illustrious award for this first time that we're doing this segment. I'm gonna start things off here. And while they weren't good. They weren't good. I shotgunned a beer for the first time yesterday.
Wow.
Because they donated money to charity, and so I did it, and it didn't go well. It went everywhere.
See that clip. I gotta see. Is it shorted?
No, it's not. It's all right. Someone probably tagged it. All right. Anyway, so the best and worst teams. I'm going to start off with the worst, and this is also for Outlook. And right now, we're going to dive in because we were just talking about them, and that's going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Because here's the issue. Here is the issue. Listen, we just rock. I think that the Cowboys' outlook is not good. They came out super flat against the Buccaneers. Okay. They just didn't look good. They looked like they missed Amari Cooper significantly. Zeke was actually running the ball pretty well, and then they just stopped handing it to him. McCarthy's coaching continuously was cowardly because there was times where they're like, oh yeah, it was 4th and 8, ball's right around midfield. They decide not to go for it, but they do go for it when Cooper rushes in the game because that was phenomenal. On top of that, Micah Parsons was basically their defense. He looked good.
Yeah, he was their whole team.
He was literally, he basically was the A.J. Dillon of the Packers yesterday because A.J. Dillon was the entire offense. And then on top of all that, Dak is now out 6 to 8 weeks with surgery. And considering
fractured thumb.
Considering Scooter said, oh, the Cowboys are going to go 12-5. Oof. That's rough. So I think outlook wise, it's bad. They were the only team in their division to lose yesterday. And all of a sudden they went from, they're going to be competing with the Eagles for the division to, I don't know if they're going to have a winning record this year. I mean, CeeDee Lamb caught 2 balls. 2.
He dropped one for sure.
Yeah, they were missing Amari
Yeah.
Cooper significantly.
Like, it looked like Dak broke his thumb before the game started. Like, he was off, right?
He was, yes.
Passes were behind guys. When guys had a chance to make a play on offense, they didn't. But credit, like, the Cowboys defense kept them in that game for quite some time. Like,
Yep.
They held Tampa Bay to field goals. Micah Parsons, 2 sacks on Brady in the red zone in the first half of that game. Then Tampa misses a field goal, right? Like, but as I have seen, when your defense is playing well, if you don't get any sort of complementary help from your offense, you are doomed. That was like the last 3 years of Broncos football for me. So, like, it is easy to spot when a defense plays well, and then that's not going to get noticed because you've got to give your defense some help at some point. And after a while, yeah, the Bucs just, they're going to score some touchdowns.
Yeah.
It felt like the Bucs were kind of force feeding Julio Jones. Like, Brady was trying to get it. Like, Julio had an amazing catch.
He looked great.
And then they went to it. They kept going to him, and he was deep, and Brady threw it kind of short. And the announcers was like, if Julio could have just made another amazing catch, how awesome would that have been? I was like, well, if Brady would have just thrown the ball correctly, he wouldn't have had to try to go to the ground to get it. But, and Leonard Fournette, I think he's the Bucs' most valuable player, not named Tom Brady. Does everything well. Like, he's a brutal runner. He's just great at blocking. He had just a shot on Micah Parsons on the edge that Von Miller complained about, saying the NFL needs to not allow running backs to assault edge rushers for the chip blocks. So just kind of a weird, boring game.
But that's the thing too. Besides all that, besides they're losing their QB, besides coming out flat, the other thing is the Cowboys had 10 penalties last night.
Woo!
So again, who do you blame for that? I look at coaching, and we get to it again. So I just
think McCarthy, first coach fired this season.
Might be. Quinn just takes over. I think that the Cowboys' outlook is the worst. Now, again, because there's teams that were bad, right? There was the Falcons that choked it away, but sorry, we're kind of used to it at this point. It's like, oh, okay, it's a day that ends in a Y, right?
Honestly, like, you're talking about that first quarter, half of football looking really bad. The 2 quarterbacks who actually looked good to start, Marcus Mariota and Carson Wentz.
Yep.
Like, those 2 dudes came out, and you're like, oh, if you want a hot take first quarter of football, it's Wentz and Mariota in the MVP race.
Exactly, which makes a lot of sense. Like everybody predicted. But in terms of
thanks, Pat,
the Cowboys, they were expected to be a competitive team. Like, look at the Steelers, right? So their outlook is not good either. They were able to beat the Bengals, but like TJ Watt has a torn pec, right? Najee Harris got injured. Like, they were injury riddled. They had a rough day yesterday. And hell, the Packers, they got their ass kicked. Quay Walker got injured. Chris Barnes had to get carted out. Keyshawn Nixon got hurt, who was one of our CBs. Like, that's not good either. We may have just lost our entire inside linebacker depth besides Campbell. So that stuff's not good. But for the Cowboys, they just looked horrific. And on top of that, their outlook looks even worse. Because, like, the Packers, we were just talking about, they got their ass kicked last year, right? The Saints, the first game, they got annihilated. Then they became the best team in the NFC. I'm not really that concerned. This, though, the Cowboys, and you're going to have Cooper Rush or whoever you're going to bring in, yes, it's not great. It's not a good outlook. Because I think a lot of it stems from the coaching, and that's not going to get fixed until he's gone.
I do enjoy the Steelers fans trolling the Cowboys with the Mason Rudolph to Dallas trade suggestions.
So that would be my pick right now for worst team going forward in terms of just like outlook. Perna?
I went off the reservation for this one, Tom. Big surprise. My worst team week 1, the New England Patriots. Ooh. Here's why. Okay. Here's why. First reason,
Kurt
Mac
Banker, Dallas.
Jones did not look like he has taken that next step. Okay. Pedestrian. Show me Mac Jones. Show me Mitch Trubisky. Show me Teddy Bridgewater. You got the same QB back there right now. He did not elevate the Patriots offense. This was a winnable game for the Patriots. Couldn't do it. Their opening drive was probably one of their best drives of the entire game. Ends in a end zone pick by Mac Jones. He throws the ball to a very covered Devontae Parker, which is a little confusing because you only think of Parker as a Dolphin, but now he's a Patriot. Dolphins pick it off. The little things that the Patriots do so well, they did not do well in this game. Dolphins have a 4th and 1. The Pats jump on defense. You don't see the Patriots do that. You don't see them gift a first down to the opposing team. They couldn't capitalize on their opportunities. Mac Jones doesn't see the blitz coming. He is strip sacked. Dolphins score a defensive touchdown. And the Patriots lose, and Tyreek Hill didn't even go off against them. Now, he had one amazing catch in this game. It was not a great throw by Tua. The jury's still out on Tua, by the way. He was serviceable, but
the Dolphins kicked their ass, but the Dolphins didn't look great in doing it.
No, and that's why that's why Patriots fans should be a little nervous that this season my prediction of them finishing at the bottom of the AFC East could come true. Okay. A couple situations. There's 2 3rd and 3s in this game where the Patriots try to run the ball and they just get stuffed. Now, one, they got bailed out the next play with the pass interference, but 4th quarter, 3rd and 3, they run the ball, they can't convert. 4th and 3, Mac Jones has all day to throw, does not convert. So Patriots are learning what life is like without Tom Brady. Nelson Aguilar fumbles late in that game, like mistakes. The one thing the Patriots do is not make mistakes. That's why they're always so good. They're so disciplined. They look like a different team to me. That's why I put them here. Bottom. Worst team week 1. Also, the Cowboys, I was going to go with them, but I had to find a different angle. You know, you could throw the Cardinals in here too.
Dude, oh yeah. The amount of, while I was streaming, the amount of Kyler didn't do his homework jokes. Oh, they already began.
Kyler was too busy beating off. Didn't do his homework again.
Just playing Warzone. That's it. All right, so let's go to best, and that's a perfect segue because that gets into the best team. I was going to put the Bills here.
My beating off was the best segue?
Well, you're talking about the Cardinals, so yes,
okay.
that's what did. So you had, I was going to put the Bills here, and I think that would be a very solid pick, but I'm actually going to put the Kansas City Chiefs here because, oh boy, I had a feeling that they were going to win against the Cardinals, but they slapped the crap out of them. And if it wasn't for just garbage 14 points in the 4th quarter, that game would have been even worse than it was. Can we talk about Patrick Mahomes?
No, we don't really have to, Tom.
Let's talk about Patrick Mahomes.
Hey, Tom, we don't have to.
30 for 39, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks too. So
yeah,
that's a big one. That's a big one. But the other thing that I wanted to focus on was the rushing attempts because they had 128 rushing yards as well. So what was it, Pacheco? Like he looked pretty good. Like he started coming along like as the game went on. You had Clyde Edwards-Helaire that looked pretty good too. They even had McKinnon back there. I think he got like a 20 yards or something like that. But they had a pretty good run game. On top of that, didn't look like they missed Tyreek Hill at all. Because
I disagree a little there.
Okay.
Like they're fine without him, but if Hill were in there, they probably would have scored, dare I say, 60 points.
60 points.
Because there were a couple passes that went to Juju that I think Tyreek Hill takes to the house. I think one like he dropped. Like they're still fine. We said they're going to be fine without him, but if they had Hill, they might have scored the most points in a game. That's all I'm saying. Continue.
I got you.
I don't want to step on your part here.
It's all good. Kelsey, 8 catches, 121 yards, 1 tutty. Juju had 6 for 79. MVS had 4 for 44. And then they kind of just like spread the ball around. Now, I will say they only lost 1. A lot of fumbles. There was 5 of them. So that was a good amount there, but only 1 loss, and that was from Juju Smith-Schuster. The defense played well. They really didn't allow any run game. I saw that. Any run game for the Cardinals, and the Cardinals came out just looking not good. Like they just looked flat as hell, but the Chiefs just bulldozed them.
Yeah. Honestly, like the Cardinals don't have an excuse either. The Falcons come out. We've said the Falcons have like the worst roster in the league, and at least they played a competitive game. Cardinals, they have talent on their team, especially on offense, and
Yeah, they do.
They couldn't get anything going. Defense, yeah, probably they don't have as much talent there. JJ Watt's out. They're being coached by Vance Joseph, and I've watched that pretty closely. He ain't making your defense better. I will just say it. And we're about to break 4,000 live viewers, Tom.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Can we
Every
do
Monday,
it?
Wednesday, Friday. GPS,
Every
baby.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like Tom says. That's when we air.
Let's go.
So yeah. So that was your best team, the Chiefs, right?
Yeah, the Bills are up there.
Yeah,
100%.
I would. Man, I just want to watch the Bills and Chiefs play like right now.
I can't wait, dude. That game is going to be electric. Like, I cannot wait. And real quick, before you jump in, I apologize. Before you jump in, something that just is of note, the Bills and the Chiefs, they played their starters in preseason, and they looked like they didn't miss a beat. There were some obviously some mess ups and
series
stuff,
or two.
But I'm not saying that that's the exact reason. I'm just saying it looks like it didn't hurt. So that's it. All right, Perno, what do you got for your best team of the week?
Ooh, okay. I'm going to go off the reservation here, Tom.
Again.
Going with the Bengals in a loss to the Steelers. I am just thoroughly
second half Bengals
blown away that the Bengals could be sacked 7 times, could turn the ball over 5 times, and still tie the game. Should have won the game if it wasn't for a Minkah Fitzpatrick blocked PAT attempt. Without Minkah Fitzpatrick, the Steelers lose that game because he had a pick 6. So he gives the Steelers 6 points. He takes a point away from the Bengals at the end. Then the Bengals go into overtime, and they should win this game. But we break 4,000. We did it. But their long snapper is out, and a poor snap causes one of the most clutch kickers last year in the postseason, Evan Money McPherson, kind of stutter step and just shanks the game-winning field goal so hard. The Steelers also doinked a field goal.
Oh, that was loud.
And unfortunately, in a story as old as last year's and the year before, Bengals offensive line, it was another sack that kind of ruined the Bengals' final chance to get a win. Was it Samaje Perine picks up a fumbled Joe Burrow ball, but you can't advance it. So they had just a second or third and long after that. Couldn't get out of there. So yes, the Bengals, I thought, played their absolute worst football and took the game into overtime. I don't think those turnovers are going to be the story every week. I think Joe Burrow's learning to play football without his appendix. Nobody can.
He's lopsided right now.
Yeah.
He's just there should be some weight there.
Yeah. As I said in my recap of that game, I think we don't know what the appendix does in the body, right? They're like, you can get rid of it. We don't know what it does. Well, I think it helps quarterbacks read defenses, and Joe Burrow is trying to figure that out now. So I'm going to go with the Bengals, who I look I picked Joe Burrow to win MVP this year. So.
Not in the first half. I mean, it honestly reminded me a lot of the Bengals Chargers game from last year. How the Bengals came out and they just sucked. Like they were turning the ball over. They were getting rocked. And then they like slowly came back. Like that one. It kind of reminded me of that. But like with the Steelers, like we'll just kind of like jump into that game. With the Steelers, their defense looked great. Their defense was really good. Their offense was not great. And we talked about they definitely lost, but that was kind of expected, right? It was just very interesting to see what a really good defense could do against a high-flying offense because they kept the Bengals in check and they made them pay for it. Because Burrow had 5 turnovers total because he had the fumble too. So, I mean, that's pretty significant to get the reigning AFC champions and embarrass them because that kind of was. And Mitch Trubisky's just like, hey, like the offense wasn't great. And again, they don't have a good outlook too. TJ Watt, Najee Harris, they getting injured. Like that's bad. Like they suffered some losses yesterday. So like they won the battle, but the war is not going to be fun.
Well, the both teams have like the same like problem, right? It's the Steelers' offensive line was bad last year. They didn't do really anything to make it better heading into this season, and it looked bad yesterday. The Bengals line looked bad, but I think that's more of like was it 4 of 5 starters like are new, haven't played together? I think it's just going to take a little time for that unit to
and it's the
come
Steelers'
together.
defense. Like I got to give props to them too. Like they're good.
Yeah, how many rushing yards did Joe Mixon have?
I don't think it was much.
82, 27 carries, 82 yards. So
that's more
they stuck with him. Well, obviously, Joe Burrow 6 carries in that game.
Yeah, 47 yards Burrow running.
Yeah, I think most games Joe Mixon's going to be more effective, especially if they keep giving him that amount of carries. But you know, the crazy stat is Chase Claypool with 6 carries for the Steelers was their leading rusher. So, you know, and Mitch Trubisky, 3 carries for 9 yards. Like Mike Tomlin has talked about wanting a mobile QB for so long. And it was just like, use that with Trubisky. Design some plays that allow him to get some first downs with his legs.
I've done a whole video about that years ago, how they were like, hey, listen, this is one of his strong suits. Like, get him out of the pocket. Like, have him run the ball. Yeah, I think the Steelers, again, they'll be okay, but like with these losses, it's going to be a problem. Like they're not going to be a great team this year. So like they did get this win. I do like though that. I do like that Burrow kind of went after he was struggling, kind of just went back to, oh, screw it, Jamar Chase is down there somewhere, and literally just started chucking it nonstop. They're like, we're just going to keep doing this because Jamar Chase like started out the day a little pedestrian and then ended with 10 receptions for 129 yards and a tutty. So he also almost had that one touchdown that would have been one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in the end zone, like right on the sideline, but his foot was like out by that much. Like his toe was on the white line. That would have won them. Oh, what a freaking game that was. So
yeah, and they lost Higgins to a concussion in that game.
Yep.
But I think the Bengals will be fine. I don't think the Steelers will. So
no, I don't.
Especially without Watt.
Yeah.
All right.
I bet they won't be.
Ooh, you want to do some more betting, Tom?
I didn't realize what time it was.
It's betting time.
It's Morbin time.
It is time to navigate yourself to DraftKings Sportsbook with our code GPS. The S stands for Sportsbook. Like that? Football season is underway. Now, maybe your team lost. Maybe your team won. We don't know. Actually, we do because you tell us in the comments thread pretty regularly.
Yeah.
But if you want to, I don't know, be a new customer at DraftKings and bet, I don't know, say $5 on, say, any NFL wager, because DraftKings is an official sports betting partner of the NFL, well, they're going to give you $200 in free bets. Feeling bad about your team? We'll try and make up for it with some free bets DraftKings is going to give you to do whatever you want with. Same game parlays. I like to do multiple game parlays, even though I was 100% wrong. My favorite bet are parlays. I like to stack a couple of those bad boys because you can really make the payout huge, even though your chances of hitting are less. But you just got to hit one of those, and then you've got weeks and weeks of new funds to continue to make some NFL wagers. Code GPS, link in the description. New customers going to get $200 in free bets instantly when placing a $5 wager. That's code GPS only at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of GPS.
Nailed it.
And I guess the NFL.
That too. All right, let's go game by game, Perna, and kind of just break down what you saw here. So we kind of already talked about Miami, New England. Again, Miami not looking phenomenal in that win, especially Tua. But
that's
like you said,
that's a momentum building win to start the season. Division rival, 1-0. Let's make some corrections and get a new designed playbook for the next week.
Well, I mean, I think in terms of like the Patriots, they need to figure out their offense because they do not have GPS. There's no direction there, none whatsoever. But the Dolphins, like their defense, their special teams still look good.
Yeah.
And I think that they'll have time to reconfigure their offense and kind of just mesh a little bit more because they do have a lot of weapons, And it's
I think two things will happen. One, they'll get Tyreek Hill to break free. They'll have a huge touchdown. Also, they'll be able to run the ball more effectively against teams that aren't the Patriots. And even Raheem Mostert had one play in there where he just shook two guys who should have stopped him for no gain or a loss. And he turned it into a first down. It's I just see more of those things happening as they kind of grow. But we said we weren't going to talk about it, and now look at us.
It's okay, and it happens. All right, so you had that. Then just going down the line, you had the Ravens and Jets, which for the first half was actually a close game because it was on for my local broadcast here, and that's why I pay for Red Zone, so I never have to see the Jets or Giants on my TV. But the Jets kind of kept it competitive, and it was kind of more of a slight on the Ravens, and you're like, what's happening? And then the third quarter, they opened it up. Lamar started ripping it a little bit more, had a really long touchdown, which is really nice. Lamar, 17 for 30, but 3 touchdowns and an interception. And again, I think what you saw from this game is what you expected. One, they need Zach Wilson back, meaning the Jets, but their defense is pretty solid. Their defense is looking pretty good. Yeah. Their offense is not.
Well, they need some tackles. Mekhi Becton, right, got hurt. They bring in Dwayne Brown, and then he's hurt. Offensive line is going to be an issue. I think that'll still be a problem even when Zach Wilson gets back.
Yeah.
But
because the Ravens also their running backs are still hurt. Gus the Bus is out, J.K. Dobbins is hurt, so they had Kenyon Drake back there. So their run game really wasn't doing anything. I know some people were upset because Mark Andrews only had 52 yards and he had a slow start to the game because everyone thinks that he, including you, and I think he's going to do really well too. He's going to be the best tight end in the league this year. So, that was a little disappointing, but they're able to get away with a win. So I guess at the end of the day,
the balls on Lamar Jackson. Let me tell you, he turns down basically 130 plus million guaranteed. It would have been a little more than Russell Wilson, right?
Yep. He's nope.
I think when you're as good as Lamar Jackson, when you're a quarterback and you get to that level, do whatever the hell you want with your contract. You want all the guaranteed money, do it. I would never have the confidence to turn down that much guaranteed money. That's on par with the other guys getting paid, right before him. The 2 contracts right before Lamar, had he taken it, were Russ and Kyler. And it would have been more than both of those. So I think the Ravens tried to do what you're supposed to do in those contracts and give a little more money.
The Watson thing screwed this market. Because Lamar said they were talking that the NFLPA was giving him counsel because again, he has no agent. So he's just kind of negotiating himself, but it screwed it up so bad because now that's the new baseline. That is, hey, I should get close to this kind of money. I'm a reigning MVP. et cetera, et cetera. And that's what I'm saying. Like when guys like Herbert, Burrow are going to get paid, it's going to be insane. One, and Lamar is basically betting on himself and is like, okay, like let's see. He might pull a Joe Flacco. Like I know we talked about this on Friday, whereas the Ravens had to pay him. He wins the Super Bowl, and they're like, well, crap, now we have to pay him the money.
Yeah. Well, even that was the Dak Prescott's approach too, right?
Yeah.
Played those 2 like franchise tag seasons, or was it just one? Like Lamar might do the same. But like he came out and he played well, and it is just the Jets, but like he did it with his arm. He had like 17 rushing yards. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens there. But that's a crazy thing to say no to. It's a crazy thing to say no to. Next game, I want to bring up Mr. Grassi.
Yes.
Eagles, Lions. Probably in terms of, nothing disastrous happening that took the game into overtime. Probably like the best game where 2 teams both looked good. Hard fought, 3-point margin. Eagles look good. Lions look good. But the Lions, it's the same story still from last year. This close to getting the win.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't happen. I will say, I think that Swift looked like a stud. If the Lions can continue to run the ball, I know fantasy owners are a little upset because Swift gets these huge runs, gets them down to the red zone.
That's me. I drafted Swift in like all of my leagues because I was like, he's going to crush this year. And Williams is just like, I'm going to take that TD. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I like that. I like that they're going to lean on the run. Goff had one like really bad throw that was a pick, but give the Lions defense a little time to kind of grow and gel. You win against a very physical Eagles team. They ran the ball well. Jalen Hurts had one incredible pass to A.J. Brown deep down like the right sideline. And it goes to show you, bring in a top-tier receiver, he's going to make your quarterback look a lot better at throwing the football. And I think like one guy I think is the biggest difference maker so far was A.J. Brown to the Eagles offense.
Oh, dude, 155 yards. Like he looked like a stud. Now, I will say, this is what I expected from the Eagles. I do want to see, because there was that one really good throw, I do want to see Jalen Hurts throw a little better, because there was definitely some throws that were not great. But once he committed to the run, I mean, he had 90 yards on the ground and a touchdown. The Eagles had 216 rushing yards, and that's what's going to make them dangerous. Because one, they can throw the ball to their playmakers like A.J. Brown. You also have Smith out there too, who I know didn't have like the biggest game because he got 0. But I will say, like, they are a great rushing team, and they could also beat you in a variety of ways. So, yeah, I think if Hurts is able to kind of just develop that arm a little bit more, they're going to be amazing. Like, they have a potential to be really, really good. And then as for the Lions, I mean, listen, Ford Field was bumping. Like, they were going wild. And so I think they came out, like, really excited. Amon-Ra St. Brown took a little time for him to get, kind of going, had 8 receptions, 64 yards. But yeah, Swift was the guy, was definitely the guy. I'd say probably the Steelers, probably the biggest one. Or look, Giants. Like, actually, Giants. I do want to talk about that game.
Like, if Detroit's defense just gets a little bit better, they're gonna win. They're gonna win some games. So
they're gonna be a problem.
Detroit Lions fans should be the most optimistic in terms of a team that lost week 1 based on how they performed. So
yeah, anyway. I mean, the Lions. Jared Goff is a stopgap, right? Everybody knows it. Like, it's a stopgap getting through the season. Then they're probably going to draft their franchise quarterback next year, like in the draft. The thing is, though, they still can be a pain in the ass for a lot of teams this year, because the way that they play football, a good run game, they can get a good defense, because I think they have the playmakers on defense. They're going to be fighting tooth and nail. So
yeah. Let's Because Amon-Ra, the 8 catches, he did score a touchdown. And there was a pretty cool moment where I think Amon-Ra St. Brown and Equanimous St. Brown
They
both scored touchdowns like within
Yeah.
like a minute of each other on red zone. And Equanimous, that was for the Bears, right?
Yes, because he was on the Packers and then he went to the Bears.
Mm-hmm. One of the announcers called one of them St. John accidentally. I couldn't find the clip after it. I was like, wait, did he say Equanimous St. John? But I wanted to use that to segue into the Bears game, where that was an ugly game, all game. And a big part of that was the field condition.
It was bad before the game started.
It was a slip and slide out there. But the Bears, who had a really rough start, pull out the upset of the 49ers.
Yes.
In a game where both Fields and Lance looked bad early on, but like it's hard to judge either of those guys in that like situation. But the Bears, probably one of the bigger surprise upsets of the week. I should have went with the Bears in my DraftKings upset parlay, but what was your take on the Bears as someone who's probably being force-fed a lot of what happened in that game via social media?
Because you look at his final stats, Fields was 8 for 17, right? 8 for 17, 121, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He did have 11 carries for 28 yards. And the thing is, like, I think it's just difficult to gauge either quarterback in either team based off of week 1's performance, right? Yes. Because the field was a disaster. It literally was a slip and slide. I will say the Bears defense, they played pretty well.
Yeah, they look good.
They played pretty well. And again, how much is it because of the conditions? How much of it is going to be, just because they're that good? The 49ers, there's definitely going to be some bumps in the road. I mean, again, they have that kind of safety valve in Jimmy Garoppolo if needed, which, by the way, oh man, I bet the Cowboys would kill to trade for Jimmy Garoppolo right now, but that's not going to happen, and it can't happen. So I think the Bears, they at least were able to handle adversity because it was a low-scoring game the entire time because it was 10-7 in the third quarter, and then the Bears defense just got it done in the fourth quarter, and Fields was able to make some plays happen. I'm curious to see if they're going to be able to build on this, like, because they have a Sunday night game against the Packers at Lambeau this week. So I think the Bears definitely surprised some people. I want to see if it's the weather. Like, I want to see if it was just like really sloppy. It's a sloppy game from both sides. We'll see how they both look going forward.
I think Justin Fields will look better in normal conditions. The weird thing that happened in that game was the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty the Bears got for toweling off the area where they were about to attempt a field goal kick. I made like a quick video about that, and I talked about that coming from the snowplow game, the Patriots Dolphins, when they brought out the tractor snowplow to clear space for New England to kick game-winning field goal. Somebody else mentioned that, I forget what game it was, but players were dusting off the ground with their feet in snow to make room for the kicker. I think you can do it with like your body.
Yeah, you just can't
use it with bring in something else to try and alter the field
because it could have something on it too. Like, there's all that stuff.
But to be fair, I think it needs to be based on situation. Like trying to dry up the field with a towel on a field that is just soup.
It's good soup. Good soup.
Yeah. That's like trying to drain all the water out of your water heater with a Q-tip. Like it's doing nothing. It's doing nothing. I would just, if I were an official, I would have thrown the flag, stopped the game, and said no penalty will be enforced. But I want to point out how stupid you look for trying to dry up the turf, Chicago. It ain't doing anything. Go ahead. Put 2 towels on the ground. Now kick. Now kick.
Now kick. Yeah.
It was just a weird thing. It was as weird as like the grill fire in
Miami
Patriots thing.
Yeah.
I saw a video of the cars actually like burning after that. I was like, oh God. And apparently there's some Patriots fans' cars. So like they go and watch their team get destroyed, and then they come out and see their car's been burnt to a crisp. Talk about a bad day as a football fan. Anyway.
Yeah. And they're in Florida, so that's like a triple whammy. The other game I want to talk about is the first choke job, and the game that ended in a tie. That's the Indianapolis Colts versus the Houston Texans.
Oh, God.
At the end of the third quarter, the Texans were winning 20-3
Yep.
against Matt Ryan and the Indianapolis Colts. Matt Ryan, first few quarters, didn't look great. Threw the ball over 50 times. 352 yards, 1 tutty, 1 interception. Jonathan Taylor at the beginning, too, was really doing nothing. And then it's like, oh, wait, we got like the best running back in football. Then he got 31 carries, 161 yards. Meanwhile, you look at Davis Mills, crushed it. 240, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. They had 77 rushing yards there. Cooks had 82 yards, was their leading receiver. But, man, the Texans looked good. And I think that of all the teams, that was the one I was like, oh, I didn't expect this, except maybe the Giants game. But I was like, this one, I didn't expect at all. Because I was like, they don't really have a great roster. I think they're, bottom 5 of the league. They're not going to be great. And they had it literally 20-3. And I was like, oh, man, like the Colts are in trouble. Like the fact that they're coming out this flat against the Texans. I know they're a divisional rival and anything can happen, but that's not a good look. Then they come on roaring back. And the Colts could have won that game, but they have a missed field goal. So they are unable to capitalize. And it ends in a tie. So it's funny because you look at the Texans and go, this is a worse loss for them because they blew a 20-3 lead and they didn't score another point after that. Or is it worse for the Colts? Even though they did come back, they tied with the Texans.
Ooh, I'd say based on expectations, worse for the Colts.
Yeah.
Based on cowardice index, Texans. Lovie Smith just took the tie. It's like, okay, yep, we're gonna walk out of here with the tie. And the Colts had some missed opportunities. Didn't someone drop like a touchdown pass? Who dropped? Was it Pierce? Had a really bad drop in the game.
Yes, Pierce had a really bad drop. That should have been a touchdown. Yeah, it was in the left side of the end zone. He was just like coming across and just nothing.
Pittman proved to be like the stud again, 121 yards, a touchdown. Yep. But I feel like the Colts need a second guy to emerge as a threat in the receiving game, or it's like double team Pittman, use everybody else to stop Jonathan Taylor, and you've got kind of a recipe to kind of hang and give the Colts problems. But we'll see. It was Matt Ryan's first game with a new team.
And that's a little concern. He only lost 1. He had 4 fumbles, though.
Matt Ryan did?
He only lost 1, but
Dang,
yeah.
I didn't see that.
So I'm like...
I saw him convert a first down with his legs. I saw Matty Ice convert a first down with
his legs. It was and again, I made that tweet on... I put it out on Twitter that the Falcons were choking because they choked a lead. We'll talk about them in a second. The Falcons were choking. They were in Houston Matt Ryan was in Houston, where it was where 28-3 happened, and he came back from 20-3. So,
ooh, wow, nice observation, Tom.
Some storylines there. He looked bad in the beginning. Trevor Lawrence did not look good in the beginning, but honestly, probably the worst player yesterday, Travis Etienne. Good God. Was so bad. Appreciate you, Matt. It was terrible.
Really no.
But because he just had a bad day. He got smacked on one play. He had a touchdown, just dropped it. Trevor Lawrence missed him in the end zone for a wide open touchdown. And then the Jaguars wound up putting it together a little bit more. But Etienne had a rough day yesterday.
Yeah. James Robinson's really good, and they need to make him the feature back. Use Travis Etienne as your pass catching back, or it's why the Etienne pick was kind of puzzling at the time because they had James Robinson. Now James Robinson got hurt. He was a little banged up last year. Etienne was out all year.
Yep.
But I think Doug Peterson will learn. Feed James Robinson the rock.
He's good.
He'll be all right. Christian Kirk over 100
117.
yards. So, Zay Jones was like they both had 6 catches each. So the receivers they were bringing in started to produce. I think give them a little time, but Carson Wentz played great early. He ended up having 2 picks in this game, so it was kind of weird mixed Carson Wentz bag, which we're used to. And the Commanders' leading receiver was running back Antonio Gibson with 7 receptions and 72 yards. But Washington's defense looked dominant early. We'll see if they can stay that way. But the NFC East is like, it's the Eagles' division to lose. I thought that before the season, and now even more so because I don't think the Cowboys are going to compete. Washington, I think they're going to be maybe better than we thought, but I don't trust Wentz in the long term.
It depends on the defense.
The sneaky Giants getting a win, opening week. First time they've got a winning record in 6 years.
Listen, I don't know if you still do it, Perna. I don't know if you do. I know back in the day, you did a certain award, and I know it was for a player.
The Big Dick Player Award?
Yes, it was for large genitalia. Brian Dable gets the touchdown, decides to go for 2 to go up 1 instead of tie the game. The exact opposite of Lovie Smith, and how ballsy that was. By the way, real quick, Saquon Barkley. I drafted him in a whole bunch of drafts, and people were like, that's a bad pick, Tom. Boom. Didn't look too bad yesterday because he freaking killed it. So I love that Brian Dable literally was like, listen, we're going to do it. The one thing I'm a little confused about, Kadarius Toney had like one really nice play, and then they just didn't utilize him at all. I don't really know what's going on with that. Again, it is just week 1, but Dable, I think the thought process was, and I think that this is a valid one, the Giants are likely not going to go to the Super Bowl. They're probably not going to go to the playoffs, right? You're going up against a team who won their division, was number 1 in the AFC last year. Why not? Like, you're in this position, go for it. And at least you could say, like, yep, we did. That's what the Ravens did too. Like, and they didn't get it. And they're like, okay, well, it was still like, the right call. But yeah.
I thought, and like the Giants did a pretty good job against Derrick Henry.
He got hurt too. Did he come back?
I don't know. I think so.
Okay. I wasn't watching the full game.
But Ryan Tannehill was good. Like, he wasn't making those mistakes we saw him last time in the playoffs.
Week 1.
Oh.
Week one.
Yeah. But the Giants probably another team that performed much better than we thought this early. I think everybody felt good about the Brian Dable hire. And just to come out with that sort of confidence in your team week 1, that's a tone setting thing. Committing to Saquon Barkley. He also had like 6 receptions.
164 yards on the ground, Perna.
DeAndre Swift and Saquon Barkley in terms of fantasy were probably your 2 best value picks for running backs because nobody was taking them early. They were available at the end of the first rounds, a lot of second rounds. You could grab either of those guys. Very smart pickups there.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm very happy about that. So yeah, kudos to you, Giants. Like, oh yeah, good God, you must have crushed it. Like they absolutely surprised me. It came down to a missed field goal by the Titans. They weren't able to pull it off. Running through real quick, just because I know we're getting to the end here. Saints Falcons, we kind of talked about them a little bit. Saints, they were getting their ass kicked too. It was 20-7 at halftime, and the third quarter, they only put up 3 points, and then they put up 17 points in the fourth quarter. And that's gotta go get some credit to Jameis Winston because oh my God, I hate this friggin' ESPN. So 23 for 34, 269, 2 tutties, got sacked 4 times. Their offensive line did not look good. And if there's anything that you're a little afraid of as a Steelers fan, it's going to be the offensive line. And there's Inject Chicken saying the O-line was not giving them any time. Yeah, like the Falcons they took their foot off the gas. And Jameis literally let it rip in the fourth quarter. Like he was the fourth quarter guy. So that
and like Taysom Hill was good.
Dude, Hill. I mean, he was a monster.
Jarvis Landry. Like Michael Thomas had the 2 touchdowns, but Jarvis Landry was the guy doing
I
the
knew
dirty
it.
work out there.
And I freaking picked him up in almost every league that I could because he was good in Cleveland because he's at least the possession guy. Like he's okay, we need to get 2nd and 6. I'm going to throw it to Jarvis Landry because like he's going to get it. And Michael Thomas, Saints fans are happy because like he didn't like the production wasn't great. He got the 2 touchdowns, which was the big thing. But the fact that he's out there week 1 playing and still being effective, Saints fans are going to be very, very happy about that.
And Cordero Patterson probably had the quietest 100+ rushing performance of the weekend. I didn't hear anybody talking about Patterson. Just like nobody was talking about him, like following up his really great season last year. He looked pretty good, even though the Falcons
last
lose,
night.
So.
Yeah, Patterson looked good. I started him in a bunch. I think I sat him in a bunch of leagues though because I thought the Saints' run defense was going to be really good.
Yeah, that's a smart play. Browns, Panthers, that was a crap show, but like the Chargers almost chargered themselves out of the win there. Devontae Adams was all over the place. Chargers couldn't really contain him, but Derek Carr threw 3 picks in that game. Didn't run the ball effectively, and Khalil Mack was a big difference maker. He had 3 sacks against his former team, and Justin Herbert. Like he doesn't have like the crazy stats that Mahomes had from week 1, but he had just like an insane touchdown pass.
He played well.
Yeah, that game ended as expected.
They didn't have a lot of rushing either.
But they held on. So
yeah, the run game really wasn't great for either team too. Like it wasn't ideal. Like Eckler, like 36 yards on the ground, and that was it. Keenan Allen had a nice day. But yeah, Devontae 141 yards, and again started off slow, and then he just let it rip, and he was just making the Chargers look foolish. So, and Darren Waller got a big extension, and now he had a pretty nice day as well. Real quick for that Carolina game, yeah, that game was horrible for like 3/4 of it, in which it was 20-7. Cleveland was winning over Carolina, and then Carolina came roaring on back. And a big shout out to someone hopefully who will not have any problems in the future, but Cade York, who is a rookie kicker for the Browns, went 4 for 4, had a 58-yarder, won the game, had the game-winning field goal, played pretty darn well. So the Baker Mayfield, even though he played well in the 4th quarter, unfortunately, was not enough to get it done.
The grand old Duke of York.
That's it. And now, again, I already talked about the Packers game a whole lot. I did a whole recap, but there is one image I want to show you because this really solidifies what the Green Bay Packers were yesterday.
Blocking themselves. Wait, go bring that back up. Why does that one guy have no body? Where's his body?
It's gone.
Is that photoshopped?
No. What do you mean? Who doesn't have a body?
77 right there.
Oh, I don't know.
He's got like his hand in the Vikings' face and then no lower torso.
Honestly, we got no legs. It happens.
No legs.
We got no legs. But crazy week 1. We got the Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks playing Monday Night Football.
Little co-stream.
Yeah, little co-stream. So Per and I will be streaming that game tonight, so you can come head on over. Any last thoughts about that game, Perna?
Which Broncos Seahawks?
Yep.
No. Not gonna curse my team.
Okay.
I'm gonna go watch them play.
Go no watch like motivational, like anything. Nothing.
Whoa. You got a fitty. You got a fitty.
Oh. Trying to get back to the hotel. I got help from Robert Tunyon's family. Got a picture. It was awesome. Saw Packers fans with his boys kind of saying they lost. Might be their first game. That's awesome. Tunyon had a lot of hope for him. So hopefully he's gonna rock and roll on. I got you. Kitty goes meow. Kitty goes meow. They didn't go meow yesterday though. They didn't.
That's all right.
You don't want to like let's I don't know, like what's a word for it?
Let's abide by the code of gentlemanly respect for our opponent.
Perny, you gonna have some drinks tonight?
We'll see. Probably not, because I realize after like 2 drinks, I start to talk like a guy who's had 5 drinks.
You should have 2 drinks.
Yeah.
Because I will get you
my
to
motor
say,
skills are they go quick.
let's ride.
Thanks, Bill.
That's it. I mean, listen, the Broncos should kick the crap out of them, but considering the chaos that has already happened in week 1, who knows?
Shut down the Seahawks run game, and we're gonna be all
They
right.
got nothing else.
It's hard because I think our starting linebacker, Josie Jewell, is hurt.
That's not good.
No, but we got DJ Jones stuff up the middle. We'll see what happens.
Perna, what do you got coming out? Also, what did you put out yesterday that the people can check out?
We got You're Drunk, a Bengals Steelers breakdown. Baker Mayfield versus the Browns, a breakdown. Bears penalized for using a towel to dry the field. Today I'm working on a video about what happened yesterday.
Go! Sorry.
What?
Sorry. I made it on trending.
Oh, which one?
The Packers fan reaction.
Wow, there you go.
Number 24, baby. Let's
Wonder
go.
what that feels like. It looks like it feels good.
Let's go, baby.
I've never
Let's go.
been there.
Let's go.
Good
Go,
job,
Vernon.
Tom. What do
gonna
you
get
got today? 20 videos? 30 videos?
Buddy,
40
it's gonna-
videos?
Yeah, I put out yesterday the 2 streams, Packers fan reaction video, the Buccaneers and Cowboys reaction video, and then the Packers breakdown loss to the Vikings. Today, I'm going to attempt. I'm going to try to get one of the South videos done just because I need to. So I'm going to try to do probably AFC South today. Tonight, Pern and I will be streaming, and then as soon as that game is over, every NFL fan's reaction to week 1 will be dropping, hopefully within like 30 minutes of that game being done.
Oh, wow, baby.
So, let's go, baby. Let's go.
All right.
Let's ride.
Australia, 2 a.m. there.
2 a.m. But folks, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you later this evening. We'll see you. Stream the Monday night game. I'm Tom Grassi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS. And you've been navigated.
And you've reached your